So, guten Abend, liebe Coaches. Ich fange heute mal auf Deutsch ganz kurz an. Unser heutiger Gast für die heutige Zoom-Klinik ist Coach Nick Davis von aktuell DC, Rose Harmon College. Und Coach Davis wird uns heute etwas erzählen, wie man überhaupt verschiedene Passblock-Schemen erkennt. Und in einem zweiten Schritt, wie diese attackiert werden können. Ich glaube, das ist ein ganz wichtiges Thema für unsere Defensive Coaches hier, dass wir eine Ahnung davon bekommen, wie wird eigentlich der Pass geblockt und wie können wir dann mit verschiedenen Blitzen, mit verschiedenen Stunts diese attackieren, um auf der einen Seite Druck zu kreieren und negative Situationen zu schaffen für eine gegnerische Offense. Und ich denke, da wird Coach Davis, von dem ich schon einige Clinics gesehen habe, der auch bei Twitter wöchentlich viele Clinics über sein Handle Spread Defense Clinics produziert und zeigt. Da wird er uns einen ganz hervorragenden Vortrag präsentieren. So, Coach Davis, now it's up to you. I'm excited to learn and listen to you.
Welcome, guys. I'm able to, Coach, it's not allowing me to share my screen.
Okay, but I closed my screen sharing.
If you make me a co-host, I should be able to. I know Zoom changed their settings a few days ago.
Okay.
Okay, I should be able to now. Thank you. Well, I'm excited, guys. They all see my screen, Coach, Engineering
Yes.
Sacks?
Yes,
okay. I'm excited to be here and speak to you guys. We're a small Division III school here in the States. We're a very high academic engineering, so I got a bunch of really smart kids. They're all engineers for the most part, mathematicians, scientists. So here in the United States, we say they're all pretty nerdy kids, that they're really just driven math and science, but they're really good football players. But this is how you guys can contact me. And I'm going to talk to you about, because we are an engineering school, how we engineer getting sacks on the quarterback or quarterback pressures. So really, the big thing that we'll talk about is teaching everyone in your program to rush. Over the last 5 years, we're number 3 in the nation in sacks per game in Division III. And really, actually, over the last 4 years, we're number 1 if you take that stat into account in sacks per game. In 2015, we were 51st in the country. 16, we were 13th in the country. In 2017, we were 2nd in the country. 2018, we were 30th in the country. In 2019, we were 9th in the country. And there's 250 schools in our division here in the United States. So we've been obviously in the top tier, and we've had different kids. You know, obviously us being a college, it's not one kid each year. And all 5 of these years, a different player in our team has led our team in sacks, which I think is impressive. And then along with teaching everyone to rush, it's not just one player gets all of our sacks. In 2015, we had 11 guys have a sack, 2016, 13, 2017, 12, 2018, 9, and then this last year, 19 different guys had sacks for us. So it's not just teaching your best guy. Obviously, you want to teach that guy really well, but it's teaching your whole entire program how to pass rush, teach them about pass pro, and good things happen. As you can see, 19 different kids on our team had a sack at one point in our season this year. Mike Riley, this kid in this picture, led the whole country in sacks in 2017. Wasn't the most gifted kid in the world. He wouldn't be the guy everyone would pick on their team to, start for him, but had a good motor. So I think a lot of times the guys that affect the quarterback the most are the most relentless guys that never quit, give that 110% effort. And then, like I said, we've had a different leader in sacks each of the last 5 years. Our linebackers have had 58 sacks over the last 5 years, and our defensive linemen have had 117 sacks. And we've had 7 different defensive line and linebacker coaches in the last 5 years. So it's not just one coach. It's kind of the system of how we do it. Obviously, I've been here the whole time, so that's kind of been the constant thing. But we've had multiple different parts, different ways to teach it. But if you teach everyone in your program to rush and you emphasize it, I think that will pay off for you. And then hopefully I got something for everyone today, whatever your scheme is. Hopefully I got something for you. Like, where do our sacks come from? Okay. We'll have a 2/3.5, we were calling it, down front. So 3 guys on the line of scrimmage, or we'll say like there's kind of a guy, is he on the line of scrimmage? Is he off a little bit? But that's 44% of our sacks over the last 5 years. That was 75 sacks. We have a 2/4 down front. So 4 guys on the line of scrimmage, or there's 2 guys within the box. All right. And maybe there's 2 walked up guys on the line of scrimmage, but they're far away from the tackles. We'll consider that. That's been 39% of our sacks. Okay. So I think probably everyone here plays some sort of 3-4 or a 5 down. So I got something for everyone. In our 5 down front, that's been 7% of our sacks. And when our 6 down front, putting 6 guys in the line of scrimmage, that is 10% of our sacks. So out of that, okay, so now we've got kind of your scheme out of the way, you know, your 3, 4, 5, 6 down scheme. How many guys are you rushing? All right. If you're not keeping track of this, maybe that's something to look at. Because when we have 2-man rush, you only have 2 guys going after the quarterback. Not a great chance. We've got 1 sack. All right. When we've rushed 3, okay, we've had 11% of our sacks that came from a 3-man rush. Okay. And it's not the number of times we've rushed 3 that we've got sacks. Of our sacks, all right, what percentage of those? So most of our sacks are coming from a 4-man rush, 69% of our sacks. I feel when you rush 5 and 6, you speed up the quarterback's process and they're able to get rid of the football a little faster. Now, there's good things and bad things with that. If you're playing a guy that gets rid of it and throws it incomplete, rush 5 and 6 as much as possible. If you're rushing 5 and 6 and that guy's completing it and it's going for big plays, then maybe you don't want to speed that guy up because he's getting the ball out and he's got some answers. All right. So within a game, I think you got to have an understanding of, if I bring 5 and 6 and I speed this guy up and he's getting rid of it, well, maybe we don't need to do that anymore. We need to change our coverage with that. Or, hey, I bring 5 and 6 and he throws it to the sideline because he's scared, he's nervous. Well, you should keep doing that stuff. So our wheelhouse is 4. We like 5 and 6, but you got to understand, I think, as a coach, as a coordinator, that where are your pressures coming from? All right. It's great at the end of the play on 3rd down that you sack that guy for 10 yards, but if he threw an incomplete pass, most likely on 4th and 10, they're punting. Okay. So you can rush 6 and get an incompletion. That's just as good as rushing 3 and getting a sack. So it's kind of by your program and what's best for your philosophy as a coach. So what do I look for? Okay. The first thing I'll look for is, what is that team's top pass pro? And here in about probably 3 minutes, I'll talk to you that I categorize things in kind of 4 categories. But you're obviously, if you're watching film, if you're live scouting, what is their top pass pro? Okay. Figuring out what that is and then going into a game plan on how to beat it. Okay. How do they block 3, 4, 5, 6 down front? So if you have film on them, all right, watch, all right, you're going to see your opponents get into 3 down fronts, get into 4, get into 5, get into 6. Or if you're live scouting them, you're going to see them get into 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you're handling that within a game, it's a little tougher, all right? But how are they doing that within a game? Having a conversation with your guys on the sideline after each series is, when we were in this 4 down front, how did they block us, okay? Who is the weak link, all right, on that offensive line, or if it's the running back? If that guy stinks, put your best guy there, all right? Good things should happen. And then what have they done against you in the past? So if it's the same offensive coach and you've been there with the same defensive coach, they're probably going to do something similar to what they did against you in the past. So keep that into mind. Maybe take notes. Does something give away their pass pro, okay? Does a alignment by an O lineman, a running back, does the quarterback, does a receiver, okay? Does something give away? If that helps you, then that's going to help you make a call. And then is the pass pro tied into something, okay? So anytime they're in a trips formation, is their pass pro this? Anytime they're in a 2x2 formation, is their pass pro that? Does their pass pro always end up where the running back starts, okay? So you'll look into that, okay? So in my mind, there's 4 different types of protection. The first one I'll talk about is a man pass pro. So all 5 of these offensive linemen own a man or are in charge of if 2 guys come, all right? So in this picture, this tackle owns that guy. This nose guard owns that guy. All right, center, excuse me. This tackle owns that guy. And these guards are watching, all right, for the Mike or the Sam to come. And if the Mike comes, that's his guy. All right, this guy's watching for the Will or the Bob. And if the Will comes, that's his guy. All right, if they have a tailback in the backfield, he's going to handle one. And then your quarterback's responsible, all right, for the 6th or the 7th guy, okay? So that is one thought. Let me get rid of the annotations here. If you're 5 down on line of scrimmage, are they going to say, you got him? All right, you got him, you got him, you got him, you got him. All right, it is a man pass pro. Everyone is responsible for a man. So 3 general thoughts. Are you better than them? If you're better than them, then rush, your guys, all right, to their spots, and one of your guys is going to win, okay? So if you're better than them, just rush your guys. Rush 5 guys, all right, or maybe 4 or 3. If you're better than them, you should do good things. The next thought is matchups. If this is your best guy and this is their worst dude, well, figure out a way to get your best guy on him. If their worst guy's over here, figure out a way to get your best guy over there. Create a matchup, all right? If you know everyone is man across the board, okay, figure out a way at least to get your best 2 guys against their worst 2. Because at the end of the day, if you can whip 2 guys right off the snap, you're going to do some really good things, okay? And then my last thought here is, if they are better than you are, you need to figure out a way to stunt and twist, move around, all right, to create a matchup. So if they are a man pass pro team and all 5 of these guys or 3 of the 5 are better than you need to do something with movement. So maybe it's like this, all right? Maybe it's a way to move, twist. If they're better than you, you got to do something, because you can't just rush, all right, straight up. If they're better than me and I go here, they're going to pick you up, all right? That's easy. If you're better than them, that's really good, okay? So those are 3 thoughts in a man pass pro protection that I think can help you. It's up to I think yourself. Like, I'm going to show you film of things that I like, but within your system, if you know you're getting a man pass pro, are we better than them? Okay, great. Can I create some matchups with my best guy versus their worst? Perfect, okay? And if I'm not better, how do I move my guys around to put them in a situation that maybe I can get an advantage? So the next type of pass pro, okay, is a zone pass pro. So now all these guys are responsible for a gap, all right? They're blocking an area. This right tackle is blocking the right C gap. The guard's blocking the B gap. The center's blocking the A gap. This guard's blocking the A gap. This tackle is blocking the B gap. If they have a tailback involved, he's blocking the edge. So in America, we call this full slide. I'll talk to our guys about it. It's a zone protection. But in a zone protection, the first thing I think is find a way to bring 2 guys off the edge. If he's going to slide this direction and I can bring 2 guys off the edge and there's only 1 guy to block him, that's a 1-man advantage for you guys, all right? So figure out a way, if they are a full slide zone protection, figure out a way to put 2 off an edge, okay? The other thing is if the tailback's out and he's running a route and you're bringing 2 off the edge, now you have 2 unblocked guys. That should be pretty good for you, okay? The next thing that I think about is if they are a full slide, put the offensive lineman in conflict, okay? In theory, that offensive coach, and there might be some offensive coaches in here, is they tell you to slide, all right, to that gap, and you stay there, all right? But you're going to know as coaches, it's not always what you tell the guys do they do, okay? So if by putting these guys in conflict, what do I mean? So they're all determined that they're sliding to the right. If you start bringing guys against the grain, all right, and they are not disciplined, so if I brought my tackle right there and he stepped there, all right, and I brought my nose guard right here, and this guy went with him, and that tackle went against their rules, and this guy is now free. All right, so figure out a way within your system. Maybe it's bringing this guy, all right, and bringing this guy, and bringing that guy. Mess with their eyes, because if this guy just steps there and does nothing, he's going to feel like, I'm letting the team down. I got to do something. So as soon as this guy retraces, well, maybe you're bringing that guy off the edge, all right? So as you're watching, as you're determining what they do, are these guys really good coach and they're going to do exactly what their coach tells them? Then probably putting them in conflict's not going to work. But if you're watching that guy and as he is pass proing over here to this side, you see his eyes go back on film or in a game, or you see that guy go back, well, you can put those guys in conflict. Just figure out a way to do it now, all right? And it's up to whatever you want to do in your scheme, all right? But I think that is good. And then the last thing is matchups, okay? So if they're going to full slide and their tailback's going to block this guy, if that's your best player, all right, make sure he can beat him. If this guy can't beat him, that's not a good matchup for you, okay? If they are going to, all right, full slide, and this guy can beat this guy around the edge, there's really no help for this tackle. His only help is inside, but if you can win around that edge, put him there. So put your guys in the best situations, all right, to attack their protection. So the next thing is, and this is what I see most here in America, is there is a half man, half zone slide. So half the offensive linemen are sliding to an area. The other, all right, half have a man responsibility. So in this picture, these two guys have a man. This part of the line is sliding to this direction. Okay? First thing I think about, beat the man side. If this guy and this guy are better, then we're pretty good because they're dictating there's two of those guys, there's two of your guys. If your two guys are better than their two guys, you should be in a pretty good situation, okay? And that goes in kind of the next matchups. Maybe, okay, if your two guys aren't as good as their two guys, that's where now maybe we stunt. All right? So your two guys aren't better than their two guys. Well, now you need some sort of movement to help you out, okay? Because they're superior to your dudes. All right? So figure out a way that your guys can put themselves in a successful situation, okay? And then the last thing I'll talk about is put the offensive line in conflict. So in this picture, okay, these guys are sliding this direction. He owns him. He owns him. This center owns that Mike, all right, in the scheme. So if you blitz this Mike and you brought this guy back, okay, you've now put some people in conflict because this guard working that direction has nothing to do, okay? This center is protecting the A-gap, so he probably blocks this Mike. There is no one to handle, all right, within this protection, all right, this tackle coming back door other than a tailback. So put those dudes in conflict as much as possible. Another example of this would be center slides here, tackle slides there. Have this tackle come back door, okay? This center needs the, you know, and you can see this on film. If that center travels back with him, all right, well, now you can start bringing your linebacker on a delayed blitz. If he stays true to his gap, then now you have a free player. So try to put these dudes in as much conflict as possible. The last thing I'll talk about is there is a movement pass pro. So maybe it is a play action bootleg where the quarterback fakes to him and rolls out. They're moving the pocket, all right? The quarterback is on the move. Maybe it is a sprint out protection, all right, where the tailback's your lead blocker and the quarterback's sprinting out away. So they are moving. They are moving the launch point of the football. The quarterback isn't going to stay there, catch it, and throw it. He is on the move. They've changed their protection to allow him to move. So my two thoughts here is attack where they are going. So if you know the quarterback is going to end up here, find a way to attack where the quarterback is going, okay? If it's sprint out, find a way to bring an extra guy to where the quarterback is going. That is the first thing that I think about. The next thing I think about is, all right, figure out a way to bring something away. So if my quarterback was running a fake here with the tailback, all right, and he's going to boot over here, well, maybe you bring your defensive end here and bring this guy off the edge because now he should be unblocked or a tailback should have to pick him up. In this situation, everyone is working really hard on this offensive lineman to reach the defensive lineman. So this guy away is going to be unblocked. And if he's on a straight path to the quarterback, maybe that is something good for you, okay? So those are two things that I think about and when people are moving their quarterback to a different location. Attack to where they're going, all right, and bring something away maybe. And then the last thing that we'll talk about here is if you want to be good at something, you emphasize it, you practice it, you preach it. Whether it's terrible, if you're passionate about it, all right, it could be the worst thing in the world. But if you're passionate about it and your kids believe it, it'll work, all right? Maybe not all the time, but if they're super passionate about it and they're confident, it's going to work. Now, if you're teaching them really good stuff and they're passionate about it and you're passionate about it, I think you can be super successful. So I'll go to the end zone shot here. So here's our 3 down front. And all we're going to do here is bring our stack linebacker to the man side. So this is a mix. This is zone, man. So 78 owns him, 74 owns him. This is our best dude. All right, this wasn't one of their best guys. So, all right, we figure out a way to attack the man side of this protection, all right, with our best guy. Now, with that, this kid was really good. He knew that he could put this guy in conflict by faking outside because he knew he didn't have a buddy to help him out on a zone side. So fake outside, go inside. All right, to the zone side, they're pretty good. To the man side, we figured out a great matchup for us. And we're able to get the sack there. So now, all right, here is a, all right, slide side and a man side of the protection. Technically, this guy owns that guy. This center should be working there. This guard should be working there. This guard's here. But on film, we kind of saw that this guy wasn't necessarily disciplined, all right, or his coach had told him something else to help his guard out, okay? So 42 understood that. So he understood that this guy was in conflict. He should be sliding here, and he's not. So if I fake here and go inside, that guy shouldn't block me, and now I'm going to be free. And we're able to get a sack there. So now we've figured out, all right, this is a slide protection side. This is a man, so this is the mixture protection. They're allowing this running back to block us. That's a good matchup here. If this guy can beat him, you're in pretty good shape. If this guy can beat him to the man side, you're in pretty good shape. All right. To the slide side, the zone side of the protection, they're doing pretty good. But what are they doing? They're wasting 4 for our 2. And we're 2 on 2, all right, with good matchups. Kid that led the nation in sacks, our best player, all right. We're 2 for 2 with our best players on 2 one-on-ones, where our worst 2 players out here in terms of the pass rush are getting blocked by 4 players. That's good for me. I like that. So here we're going to look at now we're putting this guy in conflict a little bit. So he is stepping. Maybe he owns 18, but now they're miscommunication. So they're taking 2 guys to block my 1. I like that, okay? And what we created was a pretty good matchup, 91 versus their tackle. And this for me is like a nice German lager on a hot day, I would think, for you guys. Like, that's awesome. Quarterback's helmet's coming off. Whoo! Let's go, man. So another thing we'll do is, if we are thinking we're getting the mixture protection where this is the zone side and this is the man, is we'll bring this guy, okay? When you bring a middle linebacker, it kind of dictates that you can potentially get 2 one-on-ones. He has a one-on-one on this edge, okay? He's got a 2-way go one-on-one over on this edge. And what we've done is we brought a linebacker who wasn't a very good guy at rushing the quarterback, and now they've wasted. All right, so these 3 guys are in my interior 2, and my best 2 guys in this situation that are rushing have one-on-ones. This guy's got a one-on-one. All right, to the C-gap, he's got a one-on-one, really both ways. And what we'll talk to our guys, all right, about is at the end of the play, you own the back shoulder of this quarterback, okay? You 2 own the front shoulder of the quarterback. So we have 2 front shoulder quarterback players, 2 back shoulder quarterback players. If he were to go inside right now and this quarterback escapes, he hasn't got to the back shoulder. If he goes inside right now and he can get to the back shoulder, we allow him to do that, okay? It takes a lot of repetition. It takes them understanding. But at the end of the play, simply ask him, did you get to the back shoulder of the quarterback? Yes, coach, I did. And that's what we want. He finishes to the back shoulder of the quarterback. So here is a movement protection. So all these guys are going to move. The quarterback's going to move, and we're bringing a guy, all right, to where they were going. Now we've put the offensive lineman in conflict, okay? His rule probably says that he has to protect this gap. We've brought a guy against that grain. That's really good for us. So here is another mixture protection, a zone side, man side. Now we felt pretty good about our matchups, him versus him, him versus him, but here's a stunt, all right, a twist. You're going to see how this works pretty good. Bring your linebacker. He takes 2. This guy comes underneath unblocked. This kid led the nation in sacks. That's a pretty good matchup for us. So at the end of the play, they've wasted 3 versus 2 guys that aren't necessarily your best rushers. All right? You brought 2 on 2, and you've created a stunt, which created a better matchup.
Coach?
Yeah.
We have one question.
Awesome.
About blitzing the inside linebackers. You talked about it a little bit, and the coach is asking, what are your favorite pass rush moves for the inside linebacker, and what moves do you teach them, and how many?
Yeah, so we went through and we looked at all 150 sacks, and we figured out the guy who got the sack, what move they used. So most of them have some version of a, and I'll just use my chair here, some version of a, all right, we've clubbed an elbow or a shoulder or a wrist, and we've arm overed, all right, or swim, you guys might call it. The other thing is now we've clubbed, all right, and we've ripped. So that's kind of the number 1 and 2 things that we've seen. The next thing that we'll talk about is you'll see on our film a lot of, if this guy is, this is this guy's arm, all right, we'll chop that arm, okay, and then rip up. That's another thing you'll see on our film a lot. But I would watch your film. See what your guys are actually doing, because you might have 77 different ways to teach something. But if it doesn't show up in a game and it doesn't show up on film, why are you teaching that? So figure out what you're doing. If you're successful already, figure out what you're doing and really coach the crap out of that. But I think at the end of the day, if you're teaching a guy to win against an offensive lineman, and hopefully you can see me a little bit, is if this guy's trying to block me, okay, I need to get my hips behind his hips. If I've got my hips behind his hips, all right, I've won, because he can't block me. So it doesn't matter how I do it, all right? I can club, arm over, I can club, rip, all right? I can swipe his hands. At the end of the day, if I beat this guy's limbs, his arms, all right, and I beat his hip, that's the key, all right? Because I could really club him, all right, but I never beat his hip. I'm giving him time to get back to me. So really, we talk about defeating an arm, a shoulder, a hand. Once you've done that, now you have your finish move that gets your hips behind his hips, and if your hips get behind his hips, you can win. So like we'll show you right here, this kid went with a stab. So he stabbed this tackle shoulder, or his chest, all right, so it's more of a bull rush. He bull rush, stabs that guy's chest, and now he's able to shove him away. This kid, 91, probably going for a chop rip, but his rip gets caught, so now 69's got a better chance for him, okay? 30's getting double teamed, so he's not in a great situation. All right, and 52 is trying to use head fake, but he doesn't throw anything, so he allows the offensive lineman to get his hands on. So your hands need to beat his hands, all right, and then get behind his hip and you win. So here's an example of a natural stunt. So 52 is rushing, but he understands 90 went inside. So 90 was my back shoulder player, 52 is my front shoulder. 52 realizes that 99 went inside and he's going to be the front shoulder player. So he's exchanging to the back shoulder. And this is one of the best clips of them just doing this naturally and understanding what we want done. So this team was a zone team and a man mixture. And we knew if we brought our nose guard to this guard that we were going to be for sure one-on-one with this guy rushing number 34. So you can see here 42 is just winning with speed, and you're going to see that he's ripping up through 34. And we're not getting great pass rushes out of these two guys, but over here on this edge, all right, we tried to get a chop, but this was a young kid at the end of a game trying to get in. So here we're looking at, this is the, I believe this is the zone side of the protection. Yes, and this is the man. So my nose guard understood, okay, that center is giving me presence, but his job is to work to the A gap. And my nose guard understands now, hey, I am free if I can beat this guy. So what he wins on here is a club, arm over. You see that nice tight arm over. You don't want to swim like you're swimming in water, because now you've exposed your chest and that offensive lineman's going to punch you in the chest. You want to go right over his shoulder like you're punching, all right, a guy in a bar fight. All right, you're not going to punch a guy in a bar fight like that. you're going to come with like a nice direct shot, and you're going to get that arm, all right? You're going to get that arm over that shoulder, and then you're going to punch him through, and that's going to get you through and clear your hips. So that's exactly what this kid's doing. Same clip. So here, I believe this is going to be a mixture protection. So this is the man side of the protection. This is the zone side. And this is my nose guard putting this guy in conflict. All right. This is another good move interiorly. Is 52 is now locked out. All right. We call this shuck. All right. And now he's going to get rid of him. Okay. So he puts him. All right. He grabs cloth. He shucks him vertically, and now he's throwing him into his pocket is what we'll teach. All right, and we'll teach this in the run game too. So you've taken the defender, you've locked him out. When he tries to come back at you, you use his own momentum, and you throw him down in your pocket. Because if he's down in your pocket, he can't block you. You can see that's a very good clip of him throwing him in his pocket. And this kid understands that this was the zone side of the protection. So if he throws him in his pocket to the zone side, he comes over here to the man side, there's conflict, he's going to get a nice pressure. This is a bad clip of 43 understanding. Remember we talked, you're a back shoulder quarterback guy. The quarterback's back shoulder is now back here. You've heard us in the scheme. Luckily, your buddy on the other side went to the quarterback's back shoulder, and he gets the sack. So this is one of our fronts where we're a shade, a 4-eye, a 5, and another 5. And we are going to get this is a mixture protection. So this is the slide side. Here's the man. And what we did here was created a matchup where he was a backup for them. And this was our kid that led the team in sacks. So we got our best guy versus their worst. And then again, on this side, this kid's just got to understand, I got to get to the quarterback's back shoulder. So here is our a blitz. So this is the zone side of the protection. This is the inside of the protection. There is 3 guys for 3 guys over here. We got 2 for 2, 99 understanding. I don't need to go there because I know this guy's rules. So 99 backdoors it. At this point, this guy sees it and it's like, oh crap, I got to get back. So now we are 3, all right, 3 on 2 with a free hitter here. And we put some guys in conflict. This is one of our better blitzes, all right? And it's the kid's understanding. If right now he went there because this is how it's designed on paper, he's going to block him. They're going to have 3 guys for 3 guys. And if they are better than us, they got a really good chance, okay? Because this kid understands the protection, now we're 4, all right, on 3. Winning business model. I like it. Here is blitzing the zone part of the protection. So it's not great. So here's the zone part of the protection. Here's the man part. But the one nice thing is you now put 52 in conflict. So 52 owns this part of the protection. He gives help to his buddy. Now, if this kid was a little faster, all right, he's slow on the blitz. If he was faster and he's here right now, he's in a really good shape. All right. But it's also nice that they understand, this kid understands, I own the front shoulder of the quarterback, I own the front shoulder, I own the front shoulder, I own the back, I own the back. And there's our guy getting a sack on the front shoulder of the quarterback and having a nice celebration. So here's an example of this is the zone side. Here's the man side of the protection. And here's something we'll do. We'll rush 5. He owns the tailback and man coverage. When the tailback blocks, he adds in. Here's an example of our pick stunt. We just did something on my Twitter last night where we talked about pick stunts. But this team, this kid just came in the football game. The starter got injured, so we went right after this guy. So 52 is going to pick the center. All right, and my nose guard is wrapping around here. This is the zone side of the protection. This is the man side. We put people in conflict. All right, and what we did was attack a player or two that just came in a football game that we didn't think. Obviously, he's not one of their best because he would be starting. So he's their 6th best guy. Let's go attack him with our best guy. So here is a full zone protection. All right, so everyone is zoning here to the right. 23 is working a grain. All right, he'll protect to the weak side. All we're doing here is bringing linebackers into the B gap. All right, but 72, not very good here. 52 rips up through. We got a decent matchup on a running back on our D end. And because we timed up the blitz a little bit, we got a nice momentum there. So that is a bringing 5 guys. Here is another matchup clip. So now we're 4 down for my 4 down guys. So I've got out of the 3 down world. You 4 down guys, the next few clips are going to be for you. Figure out a way. Get your best 2 guys against their worst. So this was the man side. That's the zone side of protection. Get your best 2 guys on the man side. All right. And we end up with actually our best 2 hitting the quarterback about the same time. Here is going to be the man side over here. The zone side over here. 93 understanding that this guy's in conflict because he is a man protector. So he's protecting him. So here's a good example. I know we had the question about what moves work. Watch 93 and how violently he clubs. And he clubs that shoulder or that elbow down. The one thing I would say is 93 isn't very good on an arm over here. All right, I would say once you violently club with one arm, all right, you got to counter with your second arm, all right, your finish arm. But he does a nice job and gets the sack. But at the end of the day, if this guy was better and we go to throw that haymaker, that club, and he stones you, all right, you need some sort of second move, all right, your finish move to help you get through. Here is now we're in double 2 eyes. We've got our best 2 rush guys, all right, on the outside, and we've created a one-on-one matchup for both of them. So here's 42 with that chop. So he takes 42, comes here. He goes and chops that tackle's arm down, and then now he's going to rip right back up, and that's going to get him back to the QB because he's fallen down. He's not in a good situation. He chops, all right, that tackle collapses his arm, but when he rips back up, that gets him back in balance. And this is against North Central. They actually won our national championship this year. This is when we played them in the playoffs in 2016. So we'll get into double 3 techniques, and we try to get 4 one-on-one. So we're a one-on-one here, a one-on-one here, a one-on-one here, a one-on-one here, all right? Don't allow this guy to help, really. Now 93 works back in. When you work back in, you got a buddy to help. So here's 42, working a chop and a rip, and he's going to get the strip sack there. And now 42 for us was a high school linebacker, all right, that had never been taught really how to pass rush. And now he's 5th all time in our school history as a linebacker, all right, in sacks. And this kid in high school really wasn't taught that much about pass rush. So in 4 years, we taught this kid how to pass rush, and he becomes one of the best pass rushing sack guys in school history, because we've given him a small plan. We've given him a few moves, and he got really good at them. And he was a good athlete, all right? But we've taught him, and he was a good football player. Here we're in double 3 techniques. So we're going to get 4 one-on-ones again. So technically, this would be the zone side of protection, and this is the man. All right, but if you rush in the B, he rushes in the C, he rushes in the C. All right, we got 4 one-on-ones. Here, this kid, all right, we call this a shuck. So he's got his right hand here in this guy's armpit, and he's going to throw him by. So he throws this guy by and counters back to the QB. Because remember, he is an inside quarterback shoulder player. So he's getting to the inside, all right, shoulder of the quarterback, the front shoulder back or pad. These guys are back shoulder pad players. So we'll do some things to mess with people, shift around. So here we lined up in a 6 down front, and we're shifting out of it. Here is the zone side of the protection. Here is the man side. Here is a bad clip of this kid doesn't honor our golden rule. You're an outside or a back shoulder pad player, right? Get to the back shoulder pad of the QB. But this kid just does a nice job and gets the QB, but not a great situation there. Here's another shift. So we go from 3 down to 4 down. Here is the zone side of the protection. Here is the man. Now, this is pretty cool, all right? Because of their action, they fake 45 comes. So the center thinks maybe 45 is blitzing. All right, once 45 realizes that it's a pass, he drops out. But 30, all right, puts this guy in conflict. In theory, 57 is blocking the A-gap. That's his rule in the playbook, but he's worried about 45 going there. Now 30 goes there, and you get a sack. So here is a stunt. So here's the man side of protection. So 30, here goes chop, rip, and he posts on this tackle shoulder. 42 is going to go vertical upfield, and now he's exchanging underneath. So this is one of our best stunts that we do. And I got some stuff on the internet where I did a whole hour presentation on this stunt. So I believe Victory, and I actually retweeted today. So if you go to my Twitter, it's 40 minutes on just this stunt. Here's that same stunt over here. This is going to be the man side. Here's the zone side of the protection. Chop, rip, post. Sorry, chop, rip, post. And then 42 comes underneath. And this is my nose guard finishing with the sack here. Here is we call this an Italy in our program. Here's a double Italy. This side is older guys. This side is younger guys. All right. This side runs the stunt better. All right. More experienced. This side gets the sack. Here is another double stunt. Here is a natural stunt. So this guy's vertical, and he feels that he's vertical, and he replaces. So he becomes the back shoulder guy. He becomes the front shoulder guy. This kid was a big physical bench press kid, so we told him to bull rush. So there's 47 bull rushing. What I like here is you see, all right, you can't see it a ton, but once he gets rid of him, puts him in his pocket, you're going to see this arm come over. He's arm overing him. So he's finishing. We really like that. And what I like to show my kids, or, my players, is at the end of the play, who ran a move? This guy ran a move, that guy ran a move. These two guys really didn't. He just got blocked. He just got blocked. Who was closest to the quarterback? The guy that ran a pass rush move, okay? And that's going to happen almost every time. The guys that are working moves, they're going to get home. The guys that don't work a move, you're getting blocked. Sorry about this shot, but here is the zone side, here's the man side, and here is stunning, putting them in conflict. All right, we call this just an NT, the nose first, tackle second, putting them in conflict. And then with that, we do a natural twist over here where they switch, all right? Here's a blitz. We're going to bring this guy here, this guy underneath, bring a guy off the edge. And this isn't necessarily great because this is the zone side. Here's the man side of the protection. But what we did, all right, is put a guy in conflict. His rule is to block this guy. He freaks out and comes back. All right? Because on paper, this O-line coach, he drew this up. They're good. They block there. They block there. He's got that gap. He's got that gap. He's got that. But the reality is in the game of football, all right, people are going to make mistakes. And if you can capitalize on those, good for you, man. It's the same clip. Here is a cross dog blitz for us. So these guys are going to cross. We're putting the center in conflict here. Who does he go with? Oh, he picks both, which puts this guy in conflict. So initially, I think this was the zone side of the protection, and this is the man. So he leaves the zone side of the protection to go back to the man and messes with the running back. Here's one of our checks versus an empty personnel. We'll just walk up on line of scrimmage and bring 6. Sorry about this shot, but at the end of the day, they have 5 guys to block your 6. One guy is going to be unblocked. That's this guy. Win. The big thing in America, the states this offseason were the simulated pressures. So here's a situation where we are bringing these 2 guys, and this guy is going to handle the tailback in the coverage. So we're going to end up with a 4-man rush. All right, there's our tailback player. This is our low hole guy. And then what we created within this was our best player is now one-on-one with the center. 42 is not doing a very good job. He got cut. That is not good. But we've now got our best guy against the center one-on-one, so creating matchups. Here we shift from 3 down to a 5 down front. And here is a movement protection, so they're moving the pocket. So this is where it's good to bring a guy to where they're going. So in our rule here, these 5 guys rush. He owns the quarterback if he gets out of the pocket. So we've got a delayed blitz. And that's worked out pretty well. Now, also the nice thing is I talked about bringing a guy away. 42 is coming away. All right, and he's there if we don't finish on the sack. Here is another shift for us. So it comes in late, but we were a 3 down front. We've shifted. Now we're getting a man protection. We're man, 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 man. So in this situation, hopefully one of your guys win. There's a club. He clubs the elbow. All right. And there's an arm over. It's pretty high, which I don't like, but he wins. And at the end of the play, all right, I'll tell you, there's 2 guys on this play that ran a move. It was him and him. In my mind, they're probably the 2 guys most likely to get a sack here. The guys that didn't run a move, they're getting blocked. So now we're in a 5 down front. This is a man protection. So he's got him, he's got him, he's got him, he's got him, he's got him. Now we're stunting. This side's the side to watch. We're running that chop rip post stunt. We've put their man scheme in conflict because we've created good matchups, and now we've stunted. Here's a 5-man front where we're dropping out, but what we've done is we've created one-on-one matchups out here and out here and to the man side, so we have 3 one-on-ones. Here's an example of 99, all right, with that shuck move. He's got his arm in this guy's armpit, and he shucks him by, arm over. And then we rip here, and these guys own the back shoulder pad. He owns the front shoulder pad, and at the end of the play, that's beautiful. Saw that already. Here's an example of a full zone slide, I believe. We're going to get zone, 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 zone. So what we did was we went here, 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 here. In theory, this shouldn't work, all right, because he'll block you, he'll block you, he'll block you, he'll block you. But watch. Mess with their eyes. Here's the same thing. This is, again, a full zone. Boom, 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 boom. In theory, you block your gap, you block your gap, you block your gap, but they don't do that. If they don't do that, take advantage of it. Here was our 5 down front. We were running our stunt over here. Chop, rip, post. And those guys finishing. Here's an example. If you watched last night, here's our pick stunt with our center. Kind of cruise through these a little bit. Here's an example of a 6 down front. We get a one-on-one with our linebacker on the tailback. Right, he's got to finish. Here's an example of a 6 down front, and they're going to let our B-gap D lineman go free. And there's an arm over. Here they're going to let this guy go free because at the end of the day, there's 5 of these dudes. All right, so they're going to block 5 defensive linemen or linebackers, and you got this guy. So they're either going to let you free or they're going to have to block you. So we've kind of dictated some protections. Here we're going to walk down late and bring 6 guys. Here we're going to run a 6 down front, drop these guys out, and run a stunt over here. Here is this was the zone side of the protection. Here's the man. Now on the zone side of the protection, 59 does something against his rules. Well, he leaves his guys exposed. Here, sorry, I got 2 more clips. Here is, we're going to get a full zone slide this direction. If you're going to get that, bring 2 guys off the edge. So in reality, they slid 5 guys to block our 3. They brought the tailback, and we had a 2-on-1. I like those odds. And then the last one I got for you is we're in a 2, a 4, a 2, a 4, and we got 5 techniques. We're going to get a full slide, zone protection. If you know you're getting this, let him beat this guy. And this just became a bench press. So he just bull rushed the running back and then went and got the sack. Oh, actually, I got one more. Sorry. This next one, we're going here, 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 and we're going to drop these dudes out. We do all that cool stuff over there for this kid just to use good technique. You get the club on the elbow and the rip, which clears them. So you can run every blitz in the world, all right? But at the end of the day, if you teach your kids about protections and you teach them good moves and you get them to play relentlessly, like I had everything over here to get the sack. And because this kid worked his butt off and he had good technique, he got the strip sack. All right. Any other questions, Coach?
Yes, we had one. One coach asked, how do you attack pass protections that looks more like, I think, like punt protection, maybe like a cup protection on football team, with all the offense linemen stepping back straight.
Yeah, so they're vertical setting. All right. So we saw this a little bit. Let me go to that clip. So hopefully, let's go. It was here. So let me get to it. Sorry about this. So this team was a vertical kick set team, all right? It's about as vertical, I think, as close to what you're talking about as possible. But what they like to do is get vertical back, all right, to the man side. So the biggest thing that we like to do is if they're going to be backpedaling, be physical. All right. This kid's really kick sliding hard. Be physical with that. All right. And get those guys off balance because they're not generally used to just getting back as fast as possible, right, and having any sort of power. So get underneath of them, get low to high, extend them out, and use that protection against them, okay? Because what they want to do is they want to get vertical to be able to pass off any sort of twist, all right? Just get vertical on that guy and jack them, all right? Bull rush those dudes, throw them down, get them off balance.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Coach. Another question. How do you make the most of smaller players inside of your defensive line?
Yeah, so
with more defensive end types rather than defensive tackles.
So for us, this kid right here was a D end. So in our system, we're 3 down defensive linemen. So this is a nose guard. All right, this guy is a defensive end. That guy's a defensive end. This guy's a linebacker. So we're always going to have a smaller guy on the inside. And I want to move that dude as much as possible because use his advantage against you. Now, if he's small and not fast, then maybe you need to find a new guy. If they're going to be small, make sure they're quick off the ball and use their advantage of if they allow that offensive lineman to get their hands on, it's probably not a good situation. But allow them to move around, all right, cross the scheme in your schemes, move around. Move that guy a bunch, all right? If he's small and his advantage is being fast, move him, all right? Move him all over the place, pre-snap, post-snap. If he's big and physical and can't move, then maybe he's a bull rush guy. And you know, I think as a coach, you got to figure out all your kids and figure out the right tools for their toolbox. All right. We say that a bunch here. Like, I'm going to give these kids a lot of tools to go get a job done. They got to be able to pick the right tools, all right, to do that job. And then you as a coach got to kind of put all that together as this kid's really good at movement. This kid's a good bull rush guy. This guy is a good hesitation move guy. This guy's a good club rip guy. So within your whole scheme, figuring that out and putting those kids in the best situations to do that. Because if you have a really good guy that is a cross-face rip guy and he's small and there's an offensive lineman on the other team that can't handle that, well, put that guy on that guy as much as possible, all right? Because at the end of the day, I think of football as like basketball in a sense. It's matchups. Like at the end of the day, you don't want, and I'm sure you guys all watched the 30 for 30, like, at the end of the day, the Utah Jazz didn't want John Stockton to guard Michael Jordan at the end of the game, all right? They put the Russell guy, who was the best dude on their team, to do it, but obviously he wasn't good enough. So the Bulls exploited that matchup. And I think that's the same thing in football is within the game, all right, it's 11 on 11, but if you can put your best guy against their 11th best, all right, you can be really successful.
Yeah, awesome, Coach. Do we have any other questions? So.
And I'm open. Any questions you guys have, if you want to private message me on Twitter or my email, I'll get back to you. If you guys have Huddle, I can share the presentation with you. If you don't have Huddle, I can download it and probably send it as an email format to you guys, so you can kind of get back and watch it at home a little slower. But I appreciate talking to you guys today.
Yeah, Coach, thank you very much. I think we learned a lot. I really like how you break down the different pass protections and set up the if-then rules. So at first you can do this, and second you can do that. I think that really will help us over here. And appreciate your time, Coach. So great. Another coach saying.
Thanks, Coach.
So it was really great to listen to you, Coach, and learn. So thank you very much. I don't think we have another question, so I hope we can stay in contact, and I hope you stay safe during this time and get back to football soon.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And if you guys next year, after all this stuff's over, if you guys are coming to the States, I'm more than willing to talk to you guys. If you guys are going to be in the France area next year, we're supposed to be playing in Normandy around June 6th, I believe. So we'll be over there, and you can stop by, and I think we'll practice a few times over there. And I know there's always some American teams that do summer or spring trips, definitely in Germany and across Europe. But there's some good things you guys can get over there and learn, and you don't necessarily have to come over here. And I love that Zoom's allowing us to connect, man. I would have never been able to fly over to Germany to do this today and be able to talk to you guys. So I appreciate it.
So I really do. And hopefully you can go over to France next year, and maybe there's a chance that one or two coaches can come over to France and meet you in person. So, Coach, thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
Thanks for having me.